Hey everybody, Marcus Tuttle here with Simplified Home Sales. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope this video is helpful to you. I'm going to talk about what is self-dealing. And in my opinion, it's got a couple of different definitions. One is an undisclosed self-interest in a real estate transaction. And the second would be an improper act with relation to an individual retirement account, some type of tax-free vehicle or environment that you invest in something that you already own. This is not allowed and an improper act. But let's talk about the first one. It's an undisclosed personal interest in a piece of property. I'd like to put it in the form of an example and say that if an agent has offered to represent you in a transaction and finds a buyer, and for you only to find out later that that buyer was a straw man. Somebody put up to purchase your property without understanding that it was actually the agent that wanted the property, and find out that that straw man, the buyer, deeded or sold it back to the agent. That would be a clear example of self-dealing. They did not disclose that they had a personal interest. And if you've signed an agreement or have the understanding that you're to be exclusively represented by that agent, then they have agreed to the world that they will put your interests above their self-interest. Or they have said if there's anything contrary to that agreement, then they will have to disclose that personal interest, be very upfront about the fact that they wanted to buy it, and have a disclosure to that effect that they had a personal interest in it. So if anything like this is just one example of how an undisclosed personal interest would be considered self-dealing. That would be an obvious way to know that self-dealing has taken place. The other definition of self-dealing is in relation to individual retirement account that you can self-direct. It's very commonly called a self-directed individual retirement account. You are supposed to treat this as a true investment, arm's length transactions. There are many rules with who can be involved with any kind of property, asset, business that you might be interested in investing in with your self-directed account. If you do anything other than that, this would put your account in danger. This would endanger your this tax-free vehicle. It would endanger it severely because you've specifically engaged in what is known as self-dealing. So those are the main two representations of self-dealing in relation to real estate. One is undisclosed personal interest and an action toward that, some proof of the action has taken place, or the other is improperly using your self-directed retirement account or tax-free vehicle in relation to how it is supposed to be used. So that's what self-dealing is. Just make sure that your any kind of personal interest by who your representation is disclosed. You're certainly welcome to ask if there is any personal interest in regard to a real estate transaction, or if you have a retirement account, a self-directed tax-free vehicle. You definitely want to read the rules and understand what can and cannot be invested in and considered a true arm's length investment. So that's it. Marcus Tuttle here with Simplified Home Sales. I hope it's been of value. I'll see you next time.